you're trying to figure out how to turn your Instagram into something that actually makes money, Instagram is not social media anymore. It's infrastructure. And most people are still using it like it's a content app. They post a few reels, they throw up a few quotes, maybe put a link in their bio. Then they wonder why none of it turns into actual money. But here's what's changed, and nobody's talking about it. People don't just find you online and buy anymore. They find you, then they verify you. Before anybody clicks on your link, books a call, sends you a DM, they do something first. They check your page. They look for proof that you're real, that you're credible, that you're worth trusting. And this is what's happening in seconds, which means your Instagram profile is no longer just a profile, it's a landing page. And actually, it's more than that. It's what I call a trust funnel. And if your page doesn't quickly answer who you are, what you do, who you help, and why you matter, you're losing money before the conversation even starts. And here's the part that should actually wake you up. This is happening with people who are already ready to buy. They found you, they were interested, and your page talked them out of it. That's the most expensive problem in your business, and you don't even know that it's happening, because the people who are winning on Instagram right now are not always the ones that are the most talented. They're not always the ones that are the most experienced. They're not even the ones that are almost always the best at what they do. They're the people who understand one principle that changes everything. Attention is not the goal. Trust is the goal. And trust happens faster when your page is built like a system instead of like a scrapbook. Just think about it for a second, right? When someone lands on your profile, you have about 3 seconds to answer one question in their head. And the question is, should I be paying attention to this person, or should I just keep on scrolling? And that answer is not determined by how pretty your feed look. It's determined by how clear your positioning is. And right now, most experts have pages that just confuse people. There's no clear path from I just found a person to I trust this person to I want to work with this person. And that is not a content problem, my friend. That's an architecture problem. And once you understand that your Instagram is an infrastructure and it's not just content, that's when the whole game changes. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how my Instagram works, how I think about it, and what the profile is really supposed to do, and how to set yours up so it stops acting like a social page and starts acting and working like a system that builds trust and creates buyers for you on autopilot. So let's get into it right on my laptop right here. All right, so the first thing you want to understand is that social media isn't social media anymore, and your Instagram is like your landing page or your website. And you can think of it like your business card also. But what I want to share with you guys so that this makes sense is I want you to just kind of understand a couple things here. Number one, make sure that your username or your handle, right, is your name or the name of your business. Don't have like a nickname or something that's very vague. Definitely make sure that it's not something that's vulgar, and make sure that it's professional. The next thing you want to do is you want to get high quality photo. You want to make sure you got a really good headshot. And this is really simple. I think people overcomplicate this. My very first photo, I had my wife to use her iPhone, and I just stood up against a white wall with my suit jacket and a nice shirt on, and I used that. And the phones these days are so nice that if you just use 1.5 on the photo, it's like in between the 1 and the 2, it gives you the perfect tight shot. And all you got to do is just get in some good light, and you should be good to go. And this is important because they want to see if the name matches you, it matches your website, and then the profile is something that somebody can glance at. And these are the 3 seconds that people are looking at. Now, obviously, you want to put your name in there. And so from there, you can select the genre that you want. I just have entrepreneur in mind, and then who you are and who you help and what you do. And what we have here, this is the I help blank to blank statement. So I help niche solve Y problem with Z unique mechanism. And so I help scale businesses with organic and paid ads, right? And then you can have a couple pieces of social proof and some credibility in your bio, 100 million in client sales, speaker, author, and consultant. And then from there, right, this is where I like to put a freebie, something that people can just come and instantly get some value. Now, here's the thing. Most people are going to click on it, but they're not going to consume it. And so you just want to leave the breadcrumbs, because if they click on it, now if you're running ads or running profile visits or just boosting some reels or whatever the case may be, they have clicked on your profile and engaged, and so they're going to start seeing you everywhere. And so turn your content into cash flow, and then if they click the link, I have 2 links in here. One is to content to cash flow workshop that I do once a week, or if they just want to watch a training of me helping somebody to scale their business, I have that in there. Now, why is this important? Is because you want to make sure that you have content on your Instagram profile that leverages and shows some people that you are who you say you are. They can kind of take a look at it if they want to opt in and go deeper with you after they check some stuff out behind a paywall or a masterclass or a challenge or a VSL or whatever that is. And then the other thing is you want to give people the opportunity to discover you. So you want to put one of your really good pieces of content there. It could be a Forbes article, it could be a YouTube video, it could be a training that you did on Zoom, whatever it is, something that positions you as an expert. You definitely want to make sure you have that on your profile. And so just by having those things on there, it optimizes your profile to stand out, because when somebody sees you online, they're already skeptical. They're going to click it. They want to come to a profile, see that you actually took some time on this to get their attention, that you've earned the right to have their eyeballs. And you want to make sure that you got a good photo that looks pretty good. You want to have the name on there properly. Having some followers obviously gives you authority, but it's not the most important things, because followers don't matter anymore, and they don't matter as much anymore. This is just for authority or social proof at this point. And then you obviously want to optimize your bio for credibility. Now that we have that, I really want to kind of walk through a little bit of a strategy here. So with any marketing process, right, we have top, middle, and bottom of funnel. And top of funnel is just people that just aren't really aware of you, that kind of came in contact with you in the first 0 to, let's just say, 3 to 7 days, right? And then from there, there's anybody that's consumed your content from 7 to probably 30 days is middle of funnel. And then anything from 30 to 90 to 180, I guess, to 180 is going to be bottom of funnel. And when I'm thinking about my Instagram profile as a landing page, this is actually you can do everything, and this is basically a full funnel, because you can track your leads in the DMs and you can label them and everything. So I literally use this as a CRM. And one of the things that I try to do is I try to make sure that I leave something for everybody. So my feed, just my normal feed, you'll notice that it's just still images and captions, because I want this to be top of funnel. If somebody comes and they scans it for a quick second, again, people's attentions are like goldfish. I want them to scan it, see that I'm credible, and then I want them to scan it and then kind of just do a quick little scroll. And what you'll notice here is you'll see a bunch of very good, high quality, still professional, authority-driven images. And so I'm planning to use the feed as the top of funnel. And if they click on one of these, one of the things that you'll see here, this is really cool, is it's just some inspirational, motivational, thought leader content that anybody who came to my page, whether they were ideal client or not, they could come here and get some value from my page, either from some inspiration or some motivation, where this is just a cool, regular dude looking page that's kind of interesting. And so they can land here. And so what this does is this is just serves for top of funnel, just as people are coming here and going for traffic. So your feed is for top of funnel. Now for middle of funnel, after people have kind of gone through a few of those, I like to have the link in bio, which is to a YouTube video or some long form piece of content that they can click on. So now you got them on 2 platforms, right? The other piece is if they want to go deeper with you, then they can go to the Reels tab. And this is where you're speaking directly to your ICP. This is going to be all your heavy hitting, direct response, thought leader content. This is going to be your stance, where you talk your talk, podcast interviews, like all of that stuff, talking head, reels, showcasing client testimonials, all of that stuff. You want to have this here. And so this is kind of like if you're clicking in the funnel, you come to the landing page, you kind of read the headlines, then you do on the feed, right? If you decide to click or do anything, you go to the next step where you usually put your information in. But they're on Instagram, so we've already captured them because they're in our retargeting bucket because they have stopped, scrolled, or engaged with our page. So we technically are already building that. So we don't need their information because they're already on the platform and Instagram knows that. So then they come and watch a few videos. And now if they watch one full reel from beginning to end, anytime I post anything, it's going to pop up in their feed. And so with this strategy, I just try to showcase my lifestyle, some things I'm doing for my clients, some of my best clips, some of my best talking head videos, and just showcase my authority, just looking like somebody that's got a lot of movement. And this is very powerful for middle of funnel. And another thing is you have to understand that reels are for non-followers. So a lot of this stuff is how you grow your profiles from the reels, because your reels are going to be shown to like 50 to 60% of non-followers. And that's typically how things are going viral. So you want to make sure that you're producing a lot of content in regards to posting them as real. And they don't have to be vertical. I think sometimes just doing it a landscape helps break up the feed and kind of catches people's attention. And so that's really important. And then for bottom of funnel, for the hottest people, this is where you can have your story sequences in here where you're showing more social proof and having call to action and story sequences. I don't have any story sequences up, but some of the ones, I think I got one. See if I can find a story sequence. Oh yeah, here's one right here. Leads, I think this is one. Well, I'll have like this story sequence in here where it's just kind of going through a story sequence here. And these are hard hitting because the stories are for your followers. And so you want to put story sequences in here to kind of go through and showcase your expertise, which is really awesome, right? And so then I can go here and you'll just see that I'm always using this sequence here for the stories because this is what's going to do the selling, getting hard call to actions and things of that nature. And so this is kind of the strategy that I've used to grow from 900 followers to, at this point, 235,000 followers using this. And again, this wasn't like something that I've seen before. Shout out to Blake Thompson. He helped me with this, with like cleaning up the feed and just making it super dope. But I really started breaking it down into landing page, top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And so I guess the last thing is using these highlights. This is something unique to save your stories here to just showcase so that you make sure that you have people come into your page. And usually the start here one is usually the first one, but I think I've had a couple new stories that I added to these. And so whenever you add something new to one of your highlights, that one will become the first one. And so if you have the start one here, sometimes you got to add a story and then archive and delete it so that it'll stay at the forefront. One other thing is now we're getting into day and age where inside of your middle of funnel, you want to have some Yap videos. And Yap videos are these videos right here where you'll see where I just pull out my iPhone and I'm just talking to it and I just add the captions inside of edits and I just add a little headline here. And these are really good because this is going to be your most raw and authentic content where people can actually trust you, that you're not polished and you're off script and out of character, but you're still talking, showcasing this because people want to listen in and kind of hear. And if there's one type and style of content that is definitely taking over social media right now, it's the Yap content. And if you're paying attention, you'll see it. And it also gets the most engagement. And it's just something that really converts your ideal customers. It may not get a lot of views, but it does a lot of converting. And so with that being said, obviously, that is the trust funnel. Number one, you want to make sure that your profile is optimized, name, and then a good photo. And then you want to make sure that you call out your ICP, telling them what you do with the I help blank to blank statement, some authority in there, a link for them to take them off platform or to YouTube or to a workshop or a masterclass or a VSL or something of that nature, having highlights of your stories as you capture those on the feed for top of funnel, images with some copy on there, some quotes, or just some motivation with what I use, and just keep it clean. The way you do this is if you post a reel, it would be here, and you just right click on it, or you can just long press on it, and it'll be an option for you to remove from the main grid. And so that's how you remove the reels from the main grid, so it doesn't look super messy. Because when you upload anything, it all just is on that main feed. And then from there, obviously, the middle of funnel, having these videos on here, which is super cool, is going to be your middle of funnel content, which is just like you talking your talk and really showcasing your authority. And then bottom of funnel, for sure, story sequences, showing testimonials, showing results, making call to actions. This is where you're going to pitch all your stuff, because you can even just like use your iPhone and take a picture of like your shirt or your hand, so there's a black screen, and then you can put the text on there, and you can do story texts to sell if you don't want to use images, and it's going to be your bottom of funnel. The last thing is traffic. And so if you're posting organically and all you need is one video to pop off, and once that video pops off, I recommend that you go into the business manager and run traffic to your profile from that for follows. And as that happens, you'll start to notice that your profile will start to grow, your engagement will increase. And that, my friends, is how you turn your Instagram into a cash machine.